Moons. They are, what the meaning of moons? Moons are the followers or something orbits some planets and they revolve around them. Moons, the moon, our moon that revolves around the earth and it's the nearest neighbor to us in the space. So the nearest celestial body in the space to us, which is our moon. The moon is a dark body, but it seems bright or shiny because it reflects the sunlight that falls on its surface. Although the moon is a dark body, but it seems bright, shiny because it reflects the sunlight falling on its surface that comes from the sun. Moon, as we said before, moon takes 28 days to make a complete orbit around the Earth. Our planet, the Earth, has one natural moon, but the other planets, some other planets have more than one moon. For example, Mars has two, Jupiter has 67, and so on. And other planets, they don't have any moons, like Venus and Mercury. The moon orbits the Earth, so it's called a satellite. Satellite, it means something orbits the planet, the satellite of the Earth. The moon is a natural satellite, not man-made satellite. No one built it or launched it into the space. Okay, we have artificial satellites that help us to see the television and the internet and so on, and the communication. And this is a natural satellite. Okay, no one make it. The gravitational force between the moon and the Earth keeps the moon in its orbit around the Earth. The moon does not produce light, so it's not a source of light. The only source of light in our solar system, of course, the sun, because it produces its own light. But the moon, it does reflect the light from the sun, which is how we are able to see it from the Earth. Only stars like the sun produce the light, and they are called luminous bodies or sources of light. The phases of the moon. As the moon as the moon orbits the Earth, we see the moon lit from different angles. This is why we see the moon in different shapes during the months. And this is called the phases of the moon. The phases of the moon. Remember that we can only see a part of the moon that reflects the sunlight. How much of what we can see depends on the position of the moon in its orbit. This is the phases of the moon. Sometimes we cannot see the moon at all. Sometimes we see a smaller part of the moon like this way and like this way. We call it the crescent moon. Okay, a smaller part of the moon is lighting up like this way. Sometimes we see the half moon lightening up by this way. Sometimes we can see a large part of the moon like this way. This is called the gibbous. And the other times we see the full moon. We can see the whole moon is lighting up. This is the phases of the moon in the same order. In the Islamic calendar, in the lunar months start with new moon, and then smaller part called the crescent moon, then half moon, then gibbous, then at the middle of the lunar months, full moon, then gibbous again, second half, and the crescent again. Let's discuss this part. The moon orbits the Earth. The part of the moon that faces the sun, of course, it has light. The other part that doesn't face the sun, of course, it doesn't reflect any light. By this way, we can see just only the dark part of the moon. So by this way, we can see, or we have the new moon. Okay, this part is lighting up because it faces the sun directly, but we cannot, from the earth, we cannot see this part. Just we only can see the dark part of the moon. So we have a new moon. When the moon moves like this way, this part is facing the sun, but the half of the moon is facing the sun, but we just only we can see this part only. This part only is lightening. This is called the waxing crescent. After moving at the quarter of the lunar month, the half moon is lightening by the sunlight, but just we can see this part only, the half moon. The first quarter, then the waxing gibbous, okay, and here in the middle of the lunar months we can see the full moon, because the part of the moon that faces the sun toward us, so we can see the whole moon is lighting up. Then the moon goes again. Okay, this is called waning gibbous. This is the waxing. The first stage is called waxing, and the second stage called waning. We have waxing crescent and waning crescent. First quarter, last quarter. Waxing gibbous and waning gibbous. So, full moon, waning gibbous, last quarter, and waning crescent, and new moon again to start a new lunar month, and so on. Let's go to the simulation to discuss it in more details. This is the moon. This part, of course, that faces the sun, of course, reflect the sunlight and it's lightening, but this part which does not face the sun or faces away from the sun in a dark. From the earth, we cannot see this part, but we can see this part. So here we have a new moon. Let's make it move. Sorry, to start from the beginning. By this way, we can see a little part of the moon, okay, because the angle is different. Let's complete. Okay, in this position and this position, we can see the half moon because we can see the half part of the moon that faces the sun. So we have the half moon. Okay, and here in this position, we can see the full part of the moon that faces the sun. So we have the full moon. Okay, you can do it in your home by holding, for example, a ball and a source of light, and make the ball rotates around you. Okay, facing the ball. Okay, when the ball here in this position and the source of light behind you, um, you will see a full part of the ball is lighting up. So you have the full moon. Move the ball here in this position, you will see a, a bigger part of the ball is lighting up. So here and here you will have the gibbous moon. Moves Move the ball again to make it or in this position and in this position to make a right angle here, a right angle between you, the ball, and the source of light. You will see the half part of the ball is lighting up in this position and this position. Move the ball again here in this position and this position to make another angle between the source between this line and this line. This is the angle. You will see a part of the pole like the crescent in this position and this position, and move it again and make it between make it between the make the ball between or put the ball between the source of light and you. You will not see the part of the ball that reflects the light, but just only you can see the part of the ball that does not face the light. So you will have the new moon. It's so easy, you can make it in your home. Let's go to the study note. Solar eclipse and lunar eclipse. Solar and lunar eclipse. These phenomena, let's start with the solar eclipse. Sometimes in the day, the sun disappears because the moon comes between the sun and the earth. The moon is so small, so it will not cover the sun at all for the whole earth. It can cover a part. It can cover the sun in some area of the earth. When the moon comes here between the sun and the earth in the morning, because or in the daytime, because the sun, of course, appears in the daytime, the moon comes here and prevents the sunlight from reaching to some parts in the earth. So this part, they have phenomena called the solar eclipse. Okay, you can enter to the internet and you will see some videos about the solar eclipse. So solar eclipse happens when the moon comes between the earth and the sun, and the moon prevent or blocks the sunlight from reaching to the parts of the earth. In the solar eclipse, the shadow of the moon appears on the earth. Okay, but the moon is so small, so the moon um, will not blocks the sunlight from the whole earth. Okay, just this area in the earth, the people in this area, they have the solar eclipse. Let's talk about something called lunar eclipse. In the lunar eclipse, the shadow of the earth appears on the moon. In this phenomena, the earth comes between the moon and the sun. So the earth prevents the sunlight from reaching to the moon. So in the moon cannot receive the sunlight. So in this phenomena, the moon blocks the sunlight from the earth, and in this phenomena, the earth blocks the sunlight from the moon. Okay, this phenomena, the lunar eclipse, can be seen only at night, and this phenomena can be seen only at the daytime. Okay,